take more risks and try new things. Work and school might become less stressful without fear of making mistakes. People might stop being careful, leading to more accidents. People would pursue their dreams freely without fear of rejection. People might ignore real dangers, not fearing the consequences. A world in the absence of pain. In a world without pain, I'd hug a cactus and walk away smiling. I could get stitches and never feel the sting of the needle, just the satisfaction of a job well done. In a pain-free world, people might not realize when they've injured themselves. A world without pain means I could eat spicy food without feeling like my mouth is on fire. A world in the absence of money. People would finally stop stressing about their credit score and start stressing about how many tomatoes they owe their neighbor. Forget about gold now. The most valuable thing would be a really cool rock you found on your walk. Instead of business meetings, people would throw "Who's got the best homemade soup?" contests. Without money, people would swap plants for pizza. A world in the absence of fire. Without fire, we'd all be the world's worst marshmallow roasters, waving our sticks around in pure frustration. Without fire, every door would open to a gust of cold air, no matter how many blankets you pile on. Without fire, every meal is an uncomfortable, cold experience. Without fire, even the softest couch feels like a block of ice. A world in the absence of stink. In a world without stink, farting would just be an emergency evacuation situation, with the awkward noise being the only concern. Without stink, opening a dumpster would be like stepping into a field of roses. Without stink, you could have a picnic in the park without worrying about the mystery smell coming from the nearby trash can. In this world, no more. Did I forget deodorant? You'd always smell fresh. A world in the absence of garbage. A world without garbage is like eating a banana with the peel. Everything is used and nothing goes to waste. A garbage-free world is like a pool with no leaves, just pure, clean water all around. No garbage means no more stinky trash bags. No garbage means no more plastic floating in the ocean. A world in the absence of electricity. No charging phones, just charging into a night of deep thoughts and even deeper silence. No video calls, so long-distance communication would go back to letters. Without electric cars, you can finally get that horsepower you've always wanted, literally. Without electricity, we'd be washing dishes by hand. No dishwashers. A world in the absence of water. The search for underground aquifers would intensify as people dig deeper into the earth to find any remaining water sources. In the absence of water, toilets would use high-temperature burners to safely dispose of waste by burning it to ash. Without water, a waterless system might use brushes as a method to cleanse the body. Without water, the planet would transform into a barren, cracked landscape. In the absence of snow. No snow? Guess we will be building mudmen instead of snowmen. Without snow, we're stuck with warm holiday selfies instead of winter magic. No snow means no snowball fights, just throwing wet socks at each other for fun. Without snow, winter is just cold air in a bad mood. No snow means the sky's just shaking out its dandruff and calling it winter. A world in the absence of vehicles. Without vehicles, long-distance travel would be slower and more difficult. Absence of vehicles, more walking and cycling would promote health. A world without vehicles would result in cleaner air and reduced pollution levels. A world without vehicles would disrupt the agricultural sector, making it harder to transport crops. A world in the absence of laugh. Without laughing, family dinners would probably be all about the food. No silly jokes or funny stories. The office would be super organized, like a military operation with no time for nonsense. Without laugh, every fall would be treated like a no big deal moment. Without laugh, awkward moments would just be more awkward. A world in the absence of crying. Without crying, we'd have to find new ways to show we're sad. Like a sad dance. Without tears, we'd have to pretend we're fine when clearly we're not. Without tears, we'd have to awkwardly smile through sad moments. Without tears, we'd have to find new ways to get attention. Maybe start fake sneezing? A world in the absence of anger. Without anger, people might just keep pretending everything's fine when it's clearly not. In a world without anger, losing your keys would be an adventure, not a crisis. In a world without anger, you'd just smile when your ice cream falls on the ground. Without anger, every mistake would simply become an opportunity to learn and try again. A world in the absence of oceans. Without oceans, there would be no seafood for dinner. Without oceans, we could build more cities on the coast without worrying about flooding. No oceans means no more surfing. Just trying to ride a skateboard on grass. Without oceans, we'd miss out on beach vacations. Just grass and bugs instead. A world in the absence of us. World without us. The forests would reclaim the cities like it's a land grab. World without us, the planet would probably start looking like one big garden. World without us, the animals might finally realize they've been the true rulers all along. World without us, birds would take over social media. A world in the absence of heavy weight. In a world without heavy weight, lifting a tree stump would feel like lifting a stick. In a world where heavy weight isn't a thing, picking up a dumbbell would be the same as lifting a marshmallow. Without heavy weight, pushing a car uphill would feel like pushing a toy truck. In this world, moving a couch would feel like moving a pillow. A world in the absence of lightweight. Without lightweight, I kicked the ball and it barely moved. The ball was like, try again. In a world without lightweight, I would need a crane just to lift my coffee cup. Without lightweight, lifting my phone would require more effort than lifting weights at the gym. In a world without lightweight, even a feather would feel like a heavy weight. A world in the absence of airplane. Without planes, my car would overheat before I even get halfway there. No planes means we're all getting pretty good at balancing on boats and hoping we don't fall off. Long trips without planes? You'll spend more time at petrol stations than at your actual destination. Without planes, you're just stuck hoping the boat doesn't break down halfway. Without in the presence of non-living things come alive. Phones, now alive, would selectively ignore their owners, manipulating communication. If the skies were alive, they would torment humanity with unpredictable storms and endless rain. Elevators would stop between floors, enjoying the fear. Beds would refuse sleep, shaking restless bodies all night. In the absence of houses. Without houses, you'd be sleeping in the forest, peaceful one moment, and then the rain comes down, soaking you like nature's way of saying, wake up. No houses means everyone becomes an expert in finding the perfect bench. Without houses, everyone would find comfort in unexpected places. No houses, a burst pipe, and it's like a free public shower for the whole street. A world in the absence of eyes. A world without eyes means everyone would be accidentally hugging trees and random strangers because they couldn't see them coming. In a world without eyes, every step is a surprise. No eyes? I would try riding a bike, but I would probably end up in a tree. Without eyes, I would mistakenly water a dog's head, thinking it's a cactus. In the absence of animals. I walk into the forest, hear rustling in the bushes, and think it's a bear. But nope, just Mrs. Duo trying to scare me. A world in the absence of animals. There's no milk. My son's in the corner, holding an empty bowl like he's lost all hope in life. I see a spider, glance at it, then fall asleep, knowing it's just Duo's prank on me. Without animals, fishing is just imagining you've got a shark on the line, then pulling up an old shoe. A world in the absence of bottles. In a world in the absence of bottles, we're all drinking milk straight from the cow. In a world in the absence of bottles, restaurants would have fish tanks at each table for you to sip water straight from the tank. Without bottles, you would store your drinks in a hollowed-out pumpkin. No bottles? You're trying to carry water in a shoe, and it's leaking everywhere. In the absence of sun. In the endless dark, even the monsters were scared, standing still with me, not knowing what to do. In a world in the absence of the sun, I woke up, but it was still dark. So I went back to sleep. In a world without the sun, humans would always need a light on their heads to see anything. Without the sun's warmth, the world turned cold, and every living thing was frozen, unable to move. In the absence of horror, no creepy shadows, just regular shadows being like,
hey, I'm just here to chill. No need to panic.
is that a monster under the bed?
Nope. Just your socks that you threw under there last week.
Ghosts would just be like,
Hey, I'm just here for the snacks. No haunting, I promise.
did you hear that noise?
Oh, it's just the fridge's nightly performance of weird noises again.
In the absence of rain. In a world without rain, we'd all start throwing water balloons at each other just to feel alive. In a world without rain, even the clouds would be thirsty. In a world without rain, the ground remained dry and cracked, showing no sign of life. A world without rain would see deserts expand across the planet. A world in the absence of fast food. In a world without fast food, someone forces me to eat salad, but I'm still team fries. No fast food means no more quick meals, just long waits and hungry stomachs. No fast food means we'd have to adjust our schedules to cook while working in the office. Without fast food, 3 a.m. hunger means we'll actually have to cook up something at 3 a.m.